Hello, this is Pat Walker at Mission Winners. I'm doing a training coaching video for everyone on trend lines. Trend lines are really important. They can help show support or resistance levels. They can also point out areas of focus for potentially breaking through the top of that line and leading to an advance. Now, there's a very important maxim, and I want to share it with you. Overall, not always, but overall, look for really clean spots in drawing the trend line. Make it simple enough that a fourth grader could look at it and say, oh, I see what you're looking at. Yeah, and you know what? If it goes above that line, maybe that would be good to buy. That's simple. Do not try to do fancy line drawing. Also, overall, the longer the line, connecting more points, the more relevant that trend line is on a price breakout. And you can say, Pat, what do you mean? If you're looking at 5-minute charts or, it's been going sideways for a day, it's not a trend. You want to connect more spots. And I'm going to show you some examples. We're going to start with this one right here. And I'm going to slide this back so you can see all the way here. Just a channel right here, connecting these tops across right here and here. 3 days of tops. Right there. That's what we were looking at. And note something. Combine price and volume when you're looking at it. Notice this. It's in a channel. This is what caught our eye. Look at the volume pickup on that day as it was approaching the top of this line. You had the tops here, top here, and here's a third one. And the next day, it started to push through on a pickup in volume, which leads to another point. Focus on really clean and simple trend lines. Nothing fancy. The more dots you connect, the better. Don't try to do really steep sloping trend lines. Just kind of overall flat. Nothing fancy. And again, that a second grader could say, oh yeah, I could draw that with a crayon. Sure, if it goes above that line and the volume's good, maybe it'd be good to buy. And it marches. Okay, that's nice. That's very nice. Do all trend line breaks work? No. Basically, folks, I will tell you this. The cup and a handle, by and large, is a trend line break. It's what you look for. And you can see now, here's the chart on Tesla. So let's just do some analysis on it. I'll show you another chart. Advanced micro devices. Right there. And this is after the fact. One of the best tactics you can do is, because you look at this and say, well, that was easy. That was easy to do. What happens from a psychological perspective, we sabotage our thought process in that, oh, I see what to look for. I can do that. Sure. Oh, yeah, look at that. But buy here and it runs. Buy here and it runs. Slide the chart back to the spot before it broke out so you can really study it critically and analyze your thoughts. Just a simple line here. I didn't connect it perfect on this, okay? Advance it one day. It pushes above that line. Just high here, highs here, and it pushes through that line. And it did it on volume. I say this a lot, and it's the truth. People talk with their mouths and vote with their pocketbooks. Volume shows they voted. Look at that. And what's it do? It marches. And we advance. Isn't that nice? This is the 8-period exponential moving average. We'll talk about that. Comes down here. Selling volume. And then, what do we have here? Just connecting the highs of these bars. You've got another trend line. And here's another point. So you basically have almost 3 points. It doesn't need to be precise. Notice something though. Again, look at the volume on that bar start to pick up. And it pushes through the line, connecting those highs on a pickup in volume. It doesn't need to be a super long line, several weeks preferably, okay? The longer the better, and make it again so that everybody can see it. Think about this. I'll say it again. Years ago when I was trading with a guy from California, he told me, he says, Pat, I found a chart pattern that's awesome. Nobody knows about it. And I said, so you're saying it's just you? You're the only guy who knows about it? He goes, yeah. And I said, well, don't you want other people to know about it? Don't you want other people to see it? It increases the odds that you can make money on it. He's like, oh, yeah. So always focus. The moral of that story is this. Focus on chart patterns that it's relatively easy to draw a trend line. Some trend lines longer, and now you can even have something like this. NVIDIA. You can say, well, it fell here 2 days in a row, touching the 50-day right there. It is a max list stock. 2 days of tops. Take it to the hourly. Just 2 days of tops going across. Nothing fancy. Go back to the daily. And it lifted across this simple trend line, which is also where the 50-day was. You think we're the only people in the world that know about the 50-day? Pushing through the 50-day, and it does it on a pickup in volume. We picked it up right there. And it lifted. Gaps up the next day, reverses down. This was a quicker trade. I don't like these kinds of trades, but it worked. It was very nice right here, though. Simple. And it goes. And it marches. We owned that. It was on the key list. The moral is this. Focus on simpler chart patterns. Nothing fancy, and you will increase your odds of consistently making money. I'll show you a couple more examples here. I'm going to slide this into the window. There's Wix, past key list stock. Just connected in the highs, and it pushes through and makes a good march. There's number one. There's number one. Here's number two. By the way, we owned every one of these. But the point is this, studying the chart. Connecting the high here, it goes sideways for a long time, and it ran here. And then it pulls back. What did it do, folks? Formed a cup and a handle formation. Doesn't have to, but it's a clean and simple spot to buy. And look at the volume. And it led to a really good advance. That's what we look for. If you can focus on those, you'll make money. But you also want to have a company that is A, in a leading group, or it's a max list stock, or, this is important, and this can be an and, it has great earnings and or great sales. I'm going to show you another example here. Just study this. Print these out if you want. Go back on your computer. Probably the best thing you can do, look at them on your computer. Look at this nice long break. Look at the line. You connected here. Nice long base. Doesn't need to be 7 weeks. Just a clean and simple base. And it pushes through on a volume surge. Look at how it comes right down to the line, but it doesn't pierce it, does it? That's a nice move, folks. From 90 up to 135, that's good money. And notice this. It never tested you. Just walks up the line. Do they all do that? No. Nothing works all the time, but it sure is nice when they do. Here's another example. They always say a picture's worth 1,000 words. So, we'll point this one out right here. Keys. One even further back, just connecting the high here and here over the course of several weeks. And it pushes through, and it had good volume. You can't see it on this chart because of that massive bar. Had good volume, and it marches up the line. It was a leading stock in a leading group with good earnings. Another one, just to frame things up a little bit better for you. Match group. Connect the high here, connect the high here, connect the high here. You got a nice long trend line. And it lifts across. Volume comes into the stock. and it makes a nice move. Simple trend line analysis. And the other thing that's important is make sure that on the trend line, it's not too steep, and you will dramatically increase your odds of making money. It works. It works over and over. Let's see if we can do another one here for you. Perhaps we can find one. We can go back in time and find some, which I like doing for trading. Now look at how loose and choppy this is. This is rough, but do this. Take it back. Look at right there. Just connect in the tops. By the way, does it need to be exactly precise connecting the high of that bar? No, just get close to it. Get close to it. And then when it pushes, volume lifts off. And it works. Visa doesn't really have anything. Twitter doesn't have anything right here. Tesla, I mentioned that earlier. Square. Square runs up, pulls back. You almost call it a little pennant formation. Just connect in the tops. Nothing fancy. There was real momentum in the stock. Normally stocks that have momentum, the momentum continues. Advance it. Look at it push through the line. Right there. Look at that volume. People talk with their mouths and vote with their pocketbooks. They voted. And it marched. Isn't that nice? That's what you look for. VIPs bought this. And it worked. And then eventually it peters out. You're taking shares off and you're done. Case like this, because it's shorter, you sell some into strength. And it works. NVIDIA, right there. I pointed that out earlier and before recently. Netflix. Is there anything right here? It's got a V bottom. I pointed that out to VIPs, okay? But had a clean and simple trend line right there. Look at that. Just a simple trend line. I do stress, though, you could have had one right here, too. I do stress, though, make sure that it's not a trend line that's too steep. That makes it more difficult. But there's a simple trend line. Watch this. There's a simple trend line right there. There's a simple trend line right there. Just simple. And it lifts. You do like it to be a little longer. You don't want it, normally you don't like it to be too short, and you also don't like it to be too steep. Like this, that's pretty steep. It can work, but it's riskier. Just something to remember. Google, nothing really here, but has it had other spots before? Sure, we could scroll back and look. You know, I don't see any here. We'll move on. Goldman Sachs, I pointed this. Watch this. Look at that. Going way back. Isn't that amazing? Here's the high, pulls back, and finally gets a thrust through there. Look at the volume pickup when it went through that line. You can do daily trend lines. You can do weekly. Facebook, nothing really right there. Baidu had a downward sloping trend line right there. Now it's below the 200-day, but you can see these tops. Pretty simple. And it lifted through. Look at the volume. I'll say it again. People talk with their mouths and vote with their pocketbooks. They voted, folks. I'll slide this back further. Looking right there. There you go. Advance it one bar. This is a great tactic to do to make you better. It goes through. I was an IBD meetup co-leader for 13 years, 12, 13. This is stuff we taught. And it works. Alibaba. Got to show this. If I hadn't shown it already. Look at that. And we'll stretch this out a little bit. Hits a high here. Pulls back. Pushes through here. Look at the volume come into that. That was a nice move. That was a really good move. Amazon, nothing at this point in time, but has it had other places? Sure it has. Probably have a couple drawn on this chart. If I go back, if I remember, well, I remember this one right here. Here we go. And it lifts off. Longer base. Nothing fancy. And it marches. marches up the 8-period exponential moving average. And it works. Apple, choppy right now, nothing here. But eventually, it will provide an entry spot. And when it does, we'll be ready. Just have to share this too. You can do this also with ETFs. ETFs, and it works good. ETFs of choice, QLD and SSO. They're big, they're fluid, and you can utilize them too. Just for what it's worth, they can provide entry spots. Is there any right here? That's pretty loose right now. But look at right here. You want to see something cool? It's simple. Look at this. It's down to the rising 8-day moving average. Connect the tops. So if it takes out that trend line on volume, that'd be pretty good, you know? And it does. Now, this is the best part about this, folks. Good money management's crucial, all right? If it's good above the line, it's bad below the line. So if you bought this breaking through here, okay, if it falls back down below that line, you're wrong, and you can sell for a much smaller loss. By the way, in all these examples, I never look at 5-minute charts. No, I'm not day trading this crud. No way. I'm looking at the daily. May have to take it down to the 30-minute or the hourly for a volume surge when it pushes through there. But it worked. Isn't that nice? That's it. And let it work. Let it trend for you. I just wanted to share this with you to help you. This is not textbook. This is the real world. All right? And it works. It works. Anyway, I hope this helps you. That's my goal. It's just to explain things in a way that people can understand it and say, I can apply this concept. This makes sense. Anyway, I thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for watching the video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit like. Maybe hit that subscribe button. We come up with new content nearly every day. Also, check out the videos on the right. YouTube recommends the one on the top, and the bottom one is something we thought you might enjoy. See you next time.